Welcome to Get Your Mind Right, the podcast where merchant services, digital marketing, and personal growth collide. Tune in for real talk, fresh insights, and the motivation to level up.
Bree, great to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, have you got the Bree appearance on John's show, O-Meter running?
Yes. What is that?
How many times you been on now?
I believe this is my sixth.
Number 6.
Yes.
I think you're ahead of you-know-who on show appearances.
Uh-oh. I've almost filled up my punch card.
Never.
Never. It's an unlimited punch.
Well, Bree, I love having you on the show, and this is like the best timing to have you on this because this is a topic I heard you talk about before. Mm-hmm. It's about fourth quarter selling. Now, Here's why I love this. I have heard every excuse in the world you could possibly hear on why people aren't selling in the fourth quarter. Everywhere from lunar cycles to the really obvious that Thanksgiving and Christmas, at the end of the year people don't want to talk about everything in the world. And I know you have not just talked about it, but you've blown that up over the years. Correct. So I want to talk all about this fourth quarter push today.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So in general, give me the 30,000 foot view on this, because I know it's not only a season you dread, it's one you look forward to.
I very much look forward to it. I almost call it my busy time of the year in a way. What I have noticed is business owners finally realize, oh shoot, I didn't hit what I thought I was going to. Or on another turn, I should really get it together for this upcoming year. So what I find is I'm having more conversations than I ever have, and I'm actually closing more deals than I ever have, because it's something about the end of the year really gets people's wheels turning. Mm-hmm. Also, if they're retail, sell anything whatsoever in the service industry, you have to think that is also a busy time of year. They want to capitalize on the influx in purchases and people getting maybe their hair done for the holiday season. Mm-hmm. They really want to get in front of that influx in purchases, which makes them have more conversations with people like us.
Now you said something early on in that statement. You said that folks are starting to focus on the upcoming year. Do you find that to be true in general, or are you seeing that in more specific industries?
I think it's overall. I'm having conversations already with anything from party planners to auto shops to contracting. I don't think it fits any sort of niche.
Okay, so that's opposite of a lot of reps that say, people, this is their busy time of the year, which, obviously like restaurants and retail can be very busy. And they don't want to be in any kind of conversation spot for the holidays.
Yeah.
What do you think the difference is?
Mindset, perhaps.
Okay.
Maybe they don't want to talk to you about changing their credit card terminals during the busy time of year. I think that might be a little bit more logical, but then go at them with the digital angle. Okay, we don't want to talk about that, but how can we get you more sales? Mm-hmm. So whenever I first started here, everybody talked about it was a slower time, and I did not experience that whatsoever. So I've really pushed every year around this time of year, and it's benefited.
Fortunately, you didn't listen to what anyone told you.
I didn't, no.
Yeah. Funny how that works. Funny how that works. So you also talked about, when I heard you speak about this, I know it's been a while ago, right, is you felt there was something with the summer surge, with processing, and some of those conversations might tend to run out of steam more, and that's why you really pivoted to digital.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think that's true? You think it's true for everyone?
It could be. For anybody who... I'm a type of person who I ever evolve with the time of year and the seasons. I notice that I'm having more conversations about processing during certain times of year, because during the summertime, maybe somebody's spending a lot of funds on family vacations or trips with kids, but they are more interested in saving money, so I'm having a conversation on credit card processing, whereas the end of the year, all right, how do I capitalize and make more money, and that's where digital comes into play.
Okay. Okay, good. So you also talked about how it's like a color negative of what happens in the summer and the fall. Like, again, that's people's busiest time, but at the same time, they want a website that's going to be responsive. They're going to be more open to digital ads.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So talk to me about what that's about.
Really, I think people are getting more and more adapt to, okay, digital is the way to go.
Yeah.
I really think it's just a mindset for the merchant as well, because they're seeing all of these ads on Facebook. They're seeing all these ads on Google. Their heads are probably spinning with, well, how do I do this? And then here we come along offering this to them, and their ears perk up. So maybe that started with a simple question of, hey, you saw that streaming ad campaign.
Right.
Is that something that you would also like to do? And then the next thing you know, you're bundling in the whole ecosystem with listings and website and social media. I just think it naturally occurs during this time of year because there's more ads this time of year. Everybody's doing it.
So what, like, I know I'm catching you cold on this, but like if you had to think about from now to the end of the year of merchants ramping up their spending on their digital presence, maybe thinking about SEO, improving their listings, like what do you think that window of time is for them to entertain and start making decisions on this?
Now
until
I mean, to work on organic SEO yesterday was the time to start implementing it.
Okay.
For ads specifically, it would be now until the end of the year.
Oh, through the end of the year then.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's really useful here. You know, I know another thing you talked about was keeping conversations open, and there's I've run into this too, where there's merchants, and it doesn't matter what it is. If you give them $100, if you say, hey, listen, I got a $100 bill I want to put in your hand, they'll say, I'll talk to you after the first of the year, right?
Yes.
So you've got some of those, but I've always felt that's a small sliver, and there's a big piece in the middle that a lot of timid cold souls that are sales reps, they don't want to step on their toes, or hey, I know it's their busy season. When in fact that merchant just does not. It's not just a matter of them wanting to engage. They really need to engage,
right.
and they may not know it, but with a little bit of education, they'll figure that out quickly.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does that augur with your follow up and how you look at your pipeline?
So I always approach it with I try to add value with every touch point that I have with a merchant. So if it's somebody that in the past, like, Bree, I'm not ready, or call me after the first of the year, I will still call them around this time of year, maybe it be October, like, hey, just letting you know now is a really good time of year to capitalize on the influx in business that's happening. Just wanted to see if you were wanting to have a conversation about that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It doesn't have to be pushy or anything like that. It's just, hey, we're going to notice an influx in traffic here. Would you like to talk about how to capitalize on that?
Tell me about what your talk track looks like for people that are wanting to they're planning for next year. And, there might be an opportunity for them to begin not just that conversation, but the implementation in 2025.
So that's where I would lean heavily on the audit report. Hey, let's run an audit report. Let's see where you are stacking up today, and let's build a plan from here go forth on how we can really elevate your presence in 2026. That, depending upon how they stack up on the audit report is really what will take fold throughout the entire conversation. It could be somebody that says, I'm good for this year, but I really want to be dominant in 2026. So that's when we're talking about website development, SEO optimization, blogging, listings tools, and then we'll table ads for later on down the road. If it's somebody that says, no, Bree, I need business Q4, I'm really looking for a big push, well, then we're talking about Google ads, we're talking about meta ads, streaming ads, to really get their brand in front of their potential customers.
Okay.
So it depends on them.
Okay. So I'm hearing you. I'm hearing a common theme here is that you're reaching out.
Yes, most certainly. They're same thing. They're busy just like we're busy this time of year, but we also are that consultant. We're really in their corner to remind them and say, hey, this is the time of year to capitalize on this. A lot of business owners are so busy this time of year that they probably forget to ask about it or reach out about it because they're so in the mix of it. If you reach out with just a consultative approach, hey, I'm looking to make you aware that this is happening. Is this something that you want to capitalize on? They are much more appreciative. Even, some of them will tell you no, but they're nice about it if you come about it that way.
Yeah. So one thing I want to point out here, and I think you're being humble here, but your approach is very, very different. Everything that you've talked to me about in this session today is about you're bringing value to that merchant.
Correct.
Right? You're going to grow their business. you're going to find ways to cut their costs. You're going to try to find efficiencies. And then the next part is that has to work in concert with what the merchant is doing and what their plans are, okay?
Correct.
My personal opinion, I've always felt that reps and I mean, they're always looking for reasons to not do something, right? But more than that, they don't have anything to talk to the merchant about. When you're pushing a product, the merchant gives you any kind of resistance. I mean, I don't know what your comeback is, but again, your approach is bringing value. You use the word consultative a number of times. That's what it's all about. Yeah. So that's what I encourage you folks that are listening out there today. You know, whatever it is that you're focused on, you got to really think about not what is in it for you or why you should not or do act on something, but what is compelling for this merchant to even have a conversation with you.
Correct.
You know, what is it that you're bringing to the table that's going to add value to their business plan? Now, Bree, before I forget it here, you mentioned earlier a digital audit report. Now, not all of our listeners know what that is, so can you take a couple minutes and describe that?
Yes. So a digital audit report is, for example, you'll give us Larry's Automotive in Newburgh. That is all you'll give us. We will run a report that is done by a third-party source that will give us feedback in the form of really a school grade as to how they're performing based upon what Google, Yelp, and Bing look for. So today it's looking at how many reviews they have, if they respond to those reviews, how accurately they're represented across the entirety of the internet, social media activity, website layout, search engine optimization, Google ads, how all of those are performing, and then makes it very nice and pretty for you to have talking points with your merchant. Another value add you can ask too, if you were to go to another company and ask them to run this for you, it's $1,500. But we do it for free because we want to, again, add value to our merchants.
Okay. You know, what percentage of your merchants that or your prospective digital clients you're going to work with do you reckon you pull a digital audit on?
Everyone.
Everyone.
I mean, if they have a website, every single one.
Yeah. Do your merchants see value in that?
I believe so. They're almost shocked every time I pull it because there's some people who say, Bree, we're doing great. The website looks good. All of these things, right? Okay, that's fantastic. Let's run it anyway. I want to see a good grade. I rarely get to see good grades. Let's see it. And we'll pull it and they're shocked because there are, yes, the website may be beautiful and well laid out and have video and all of that, but it's taking 30 seconds to load on a mobile device, which is a huge bummer for anybody who has ever tried to go to a website and you're pinching and pulling and moving around.
Yes.
I don't care how good the website looks like on desktop.
Yeah, I know I go through that confounded exercise. I mean, years after the fact, you know, it's something I'm interested in. Like you said, I'm pinching and pulling. I go through it every time. And 100% of the time, I quit in frustration and go on to the next one.
Me too.
I can't break myself of that bad habit. I just try to make it work.
And that's not just for retail. I mean, I went a whole other route with a dentist, my husband's chiropractor. I mean, it's every avenue. It is not just retail.
There's irony there. You're looking at a chiropractor and you're pinching and pulling.
Yeah, that is.
You see what I did there?
Yes, bracket and move.
There's no additional charge for that, by the way.
Well, good.
So Bree, before we run out of time today, there's a couple things a couple notes I made when you talked. I know you are big on calls to action and websites that act as a sales force for that merchant.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So, have you ever went to a website and you didn't know what they did?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, it happens. So I cannot tell you how many people I've talked to. I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, you're like digging in and you're still scratching your head.
I have no idea why I'm here or even how I got here. That is why it is so important and very impactful for the end user to have a specific call to action. Here's what we do and here's how we can help you. Click here and schedule a call with us. Or, I mean, if it's retail, have the right things in place where if you have a promo code, if you have 10% off, have it flashed immediately at the top and then have it go to the side. That way it's not annoying. Or have it asking, leading them through the warm-up cycle where at the end of the process it's a hot lead for you. Whatever it may be, I find it so important to not only capture a lead, get them to the website, but then convert them where they're going to a sale. That is how impactful those call to actions can be.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Someone I know that's in this room with me right now talk to me about that, and that's like the first thing I look for in a website. And I know the ones that you put together. That it's that call to action. Call now, get a quote. Push this button to fill out a form.
Yeah,
right?
I want it to be easy.
You got to make it easy to do business with. Yeah, I got you on that. So talk to me too, Bree. When I heard you pitch this before, you talked about case studies and you talked about quick wins and value tie-ins. So tell me how you use case studies today.
I use them on almost every proposal email that I send. So it is so great to talk to me and hear everything that I have to say about what can help them.
That's my user experience, so I don't know why.
It is so great to see this proposal that I'm generating to them, but also they don't know if it's going to work. I could be just spitting out all of this stuff for absolutely no reason. A case study is really just locks it in that everything that I say is fact because they see that it happened for someone else and we have put it into paper form for them to review, and multiple of them.
It's not abstract.
Not at all.
Yeah, I go along with that. There's nothing really stronger than that because once again, it's the proof, right? It's not just me talking about this thing I dreamed up. It's like, we've actually make it work.
Exactly.
And the other thing is that ties in one of the most effective ways of communication, which is storytelling.
Right.
We saw a problem, we saw what the need was, and we put in the solution, and here's the results of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very effective. So talk to me about your quick wins. And you talked about listings cleanup, boosted posts, seasonal landing pages.
They're all good. So anybody who's wanting that quick win, capitalize on the influx in traffic that's soon to happen from Christmas, holidays time, seasonal promotions, anybody that tells me, Bree, I really want to capitalize on this, I'm telling them seasonal landing pages within the website. We're building ads around those campaigns, whether that be Google, it could be Meta, it could be a combination of both. For those who are really wanting to be aggressive, I would recommend some form of streaming ad, getting in front of people on YouTube TV and Hulu, going directly to their direct target market, and then of course directing them back to the website where they can book a call with you or buy those pairs of shoes, whatever that may be, is something that I will be talking about all quarter long.
I asked about quick wins. I thought I was going to get a quick answer. I hope you're not giving me a quiz on this. I missed those. Guys, this was the meatiest part of the dialogue right now because that's what people want. They want a quick return on investment in what some people consider a really tough quarter for them. But Bree, that's like 10 things you mentioned right there.
Yeah.
So that's all really good stuff. Now one last thing is I want to talk to you about, you mentioned value tie-in, where your digital bridges the gap when cart volume flattens. Well, what's that mean anyway?
So it can be whenever I wrote that, it could be twofold. So whenever I sold credit card processing, I was trying to do both at the same time. I noticed that a lot of people weren't wanting to talk to me about credit card processing during November and December. That it's not a fun thing to talk about, I guess, whenever you're trying to swipe cards as fast as possible. So just again, like we've talked about, this whole segment is approaching them with a consultative conversation of how can we get you more volume as possible. I want you as your colleague, as your friend, to capitalize on this time of year. That is really the theme of this whole conversation is I'm going at you with a consultative conversation. I want you to win. Here's the roadmap to do it. Do you want to do it or not? That kind of thing. Making it easy to say yes to you. Are we doing this?
Make it easy to say yes. There's that phrase again.
Yeah.
All right, Bree, any parting shots, any words of wisdom, anything that our listeners just cannot miss between now and the end of the year?
Pick up the phone. Make the calls. Ask your merchants and lead with value. So don't be afraid. It's never intimidating to call somebody if you are genuinely interested in helping them out. Even if they tell you no, you're still leaving that door open to follow up in the spring and be like, hey, it's me again. You told me to give you a call. Nobody ever hates to hear those type of phone calls. They hate to hear, hey, this is the person that wants to get you to the top of Google. Do you want to do that or what? And then they're slamming the door, and then you just shut the door. So make the calls. I mean, make it consultative. Keep an open flowing conversation is really all the advice I could give.
Make the calls.
Make
None
the
of this
calls.
happens if you don't make the calls.
Yes, reach out. They're not going to come to you.
Yeah.
You got to go to them.
Well, Bree, as always, it's great having you on the show. You're one of my favorite guests.
Thanks for
Again,
having me.
you talked about adding value. You add value to my show. And I
Great.
appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
So it's check her out on LinkedIn. Is it Bree or Brianna?
Bree Miracle.
It's Bree Miracle, which is the
Mm-hmm.
colloquial for Brianna. I know everyone's curious about that. But check her out on LinkedIn. And I will see you back here on Friday for the mailbag episode for Brianna Miracle. I'm John Johnson, and get your mind right.